I'm here standing in for David Farmer on behalf of SPR to give you an update about Steve. I thought about this quite a bit, and I wanted to open with something from the 98th Psalm. Shout joyfully to the Lord, all the earth. Break forth and sing for joy and sing praises. That passage is not strange to me. And quite candidly, when I hear our choir and I think about that passage, and I think about the joy and the praises that come from our choir. And the last 5 years, Steve Hester has been a leader, a compassionate leader of that choir in our music program. And as you all know, Steve had a stroke. He was near death. He spent 10 days in ICU at Emory. He spent 20 more days at acute therapy at Emory. He was able to go home. He's been home, and he has his setbacks and he has his good days, but he's undergoing therapy. And he really hopes to come and stand before you in the fall of this year. Steve's dedication and Debbie's dedication to what they're going through together is a story in and of itself. I don't know, we all are beset at times with tragedy in our life or loved ones, and we know how much of an impact that has. Whether it's illness or coming back from illness, Steve isn't in a life struggle, but Steve is in a struggle to overcome all that the stroke did to him physically and mentally. I mean, he's actually having to learn how to speak again, which he's doing. And so it's a process. And you can imagine the burden on Debbie. And when I think about Steve, I also think about this passage. My heart is steadfast, O God. My heart is steadfast. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises. Steve Hester's a man that wants to be before you again singing praises. If he's not before you, he wants to be in front of someone that needs his wonderful voice and his passion. One of the things that they're confronting right now, and some people in our church, independent of SPR, have gone and established a site called GoFundMe. It's referenced in your bulletin. But when Steve fell and he went immediately, or had a stroke after he fell, he went immediately to the hospital there in Fayette, and because of the severity of his stroke, he had to be transported to Emory. That transport was on a helicopter, an ambulance, and the cost of that ambulance alone was $45,000. And because Steve is totally dependent on the health care provided through his wife's employer, I'm sure you all are familiar with the term out-of-network with insurance companies. There's a lot going on with some of his medical care and the insurance because of that out-of-network phrase. So GoFundMe was established by a group of very concerned people, and what I would like you today to consider is let people know about that fund. It's separate from us, but it can't be too separate from us because Steve is such a part of us. And it's just a way to reach out and help Steve and Debbie. I truly hope that we're going to see him soon, and soon being by the end of this year. But in any regard, let's keep him in our prayers. He's a wonderful person. The first time I ever met him, I felt like there was something special about Steve. And he came to our church and took a pretty significant cut in pay to be here. And what he's delivered and how he's made us feel as a church. And the choir has always been a wonderful choir. But the voices lift up, and you see the musicians up front here, and that's all because of his dedication to his ministry that he's been engaged in for 40 years.